Greetings and welcome to another episode of Q Points Podcast. I am DJ Sir Daniel.
And my name is J. Ray, sometimes known by my government as Johnny Ray Cornegay III. What's happening, people?
Jerry, we got a superstar in the building.
We legit have a legend, a superstar in the building, and that's super dope for us.
And I'm excited to speak with him because we've had opportunities. We both got to see him gig, and we've had opportunities to share space with him, but the two of us haven't had an opportunity to like really chop it up and to just, talk shop and to go over some things that are happening within, the zeitgeist right now. So yes. I'm excited to hear from him. But J. Ray, we gotta set it off with something that's been burning in my soul recently.
What's been burning in your soul, Sir Daniel?
I really do believe, I'm starting to believe that the party people of a certain age, if they can tell that you're older than them, as far as the DJ is concerned, they're really not rocking with you.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah, if they can tell that you're much older than them, they're really not trying to stick around and hear what you have to play.
That's interesting to me because I've actually always revered the older DJ. Growing up, like that was, and maybe because it was as a kid, right? I was always just kind of hanging around the DJ booth, like watching what the DJ would play, and the DJ wouldn't like kick me out when he was like at like family functions and stuff. So I never had that thing. So when I see like a DJ that's older than me, I'm curious to know what the journey is going to be, because I know it's going to be different than somebody who's like a peer or near my peer group. Like I expect the journey to be different. So that's interesting, Sir Daniel.
Yeah, I mean, not for nothing, I see a lot of DJs. Well, first of all, if I'm getting older, that means they're getting younger.
Right.
And there are certain things that I cannot do. Like I'm not going to do a set with my shirt off. That's just not happening. Y'all don't want to see
Sir
that
Daniel,
anyway.
Sir Daniel, you're not going to like get a kids a shirtless set?
No, nope. There's just certain things that you all don't want to see that, trust me. But then, I can't do a shirtless set. I'm not, there are just certain things that I think that if you're beyond a certain age, you cannot do or probably would not do. So therefore the party people are just like, that's really not my vibe. This is way sexier over here. I'm gonna go check that out. So that's just been a thought that's been brewing within me. And it's so funny. Our guest, when I met him, I know it's been like a decade now since the first time that I became acquainted with him. He's an elder millennial now.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? We're going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about what it's like to be the old guy, to be the old head now in the booth and see how he feels about that.
You know what I mean? Leading the people to the promised land, with the music. But we're going to introduce our guest now. So who is this amazing person that we are talking about? Joining us tonight, y'all, we are so excited. Jeremy Avalon is with us. Jeremy has reached a global audience as a DJ and music producer, performing all over the US. He has taken his talents overseas as well to locations such as the UK, Croatia, and Mexico. His Playa del Carmen set from last year, banging. Y'all need to go check it out. Jeremy has appeared on the Rock the Bells cruise and acclaimed festivals and traveling events such as Art Beats and Lyrics. Shout out to Art Beats and Lyrics. The Art of Cool and the One Music Fest. He is open for a diverse array of artists like the late DMX, K Tronada, Rich Medina, Masego, Fishbone, Victor Duplaix, Sango, DJ Jazzy Jeff, Brian Michael Cox, and others. Shout out to all the Philly love in there. Jeremy's first love has always been the guitar and music production. He is a multi-instrumentalist with production credits with a diverse list of artists like jazz singer Shantae Can, hip-hop legends the Nat Pete Roots, and collaborations with electronic producer Treasure Fingers. Already a world traveler by the age of 11, Jeremy incorporates many international influences into his DJing and music production. Up-tempo soul and R&B and futuristic funk permeate his sound, as well as Caribbean and Latin rhythms, indie dance, and deep house. These are the tip of the iceberg as it concerns Jeremy Avalon's musical palette. Q Points, we are honored to have our brother, Jeremy Avalon, here on
in the
Q
building.
Points.
Welcome, Jeremy.
Man.
Hello. It's great to be. It's weird being on this side because I'm always listening on the other side. So this is cool. Yeah.
We
Man.
had to do it. It's about time. It's about
Cool.
time that we had you on the show for sure.
Absolutely. Welcome. You know, there's a lot to get into tonight that we definitely want to hit with you. But first and foremost, how are you doing before we jump into some questions?
I'm cool, man. I've had a good little weekend. I got to play with my man Sir Daniel over here. That was fun. That was my first time at that space, at that particular venue. So that was cool. So it was good to see. And I saw a lot of people that I haven't seen in years either. So I saw a kid I went to high school with, and that was crazy.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy cracks will do that.
Yeah. So I had a great time. That was a good finish to my busy weekend.
Good deal. Well, listen, man, like one of the things that we have heard, so being blessed with cool parents, right? You have an extremely interesting and diverse history as it relates to just your artistic palette, all of that. What made your parents cool?
I would say the gift of travel, first of all. Having cable television in the 80s and 90s, if you were black, is a superpower. You were like, yeah.
Changes the game.
Like,
It does.
It matters. Like, I'd say that, but I would definitely just say a space to like kind of like discover music in a space to do it alone sometimes, and I used to, I was always infatuated with the album covers. My parents had a pretty decent collection. So just being in awe of them and taking them all out, and we had one of those console stereos that looked like a coffin. With,
record
with
drop down.
Yeah,
Yes.
had an 8-track in it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I grew up taking all those out and just spreading them around, and my mom's who is Melba Moore and Barbra Streisand and all this, and then my dad having Sly and Jimi and like those type of artists, So I was just obsessed with these, like, what are these big trading cards? Or, they were just so that's kind of sparked it off.
There enough can't be said about parents exposing their children to culture at an early age. Like that resonates with me big time, Jeremy, because I was traveling at an early age. Matter of fact, we were just talking about that, Jerry.
Yep.
We were interviewed on another show, and we were talking about the fact that I started traveling at the age of 2, because I'm an immigrant. So, came over here at the age of 2, and mom exposed me to music at a very early age with the same console, learning how to put the record on myself.
Yep.
And at the big age of 5, she was like, okay, these are your records. You could put them on yourself. Those kinds of things. They have an effect on you. And talk to us about the musicianship part of your repertoire, because you're an accomplished musician. You play guitar. I'm sure you play other instruments, but talk to us about that. And being an accomplished musician, I want you to think about this, and you can answer it now, maybe later, but what's your GOAT jam session? Like, if you you got your axe out and you playing with somebody, who's in that GOAT jam session with you?
Oh, okay, so I might be able to tackle that one. Okay. So musicianship, I would say, I was blessed to have a piano in the house growing up.
That's dope.
Nobody really played for real, everybody, it would just, I don't know, in the 80s, it was just cool if you had a piano in your house, I guess, So having a piano in my house and just being able to, if I wanted to touch music, I could touch it, outside of just these records and stuff like that. It was So I was always interested in guitar. My my dad's a big Hendrix fan, so like some of the first music I heard in life is like Machine Gun and
That's dope.
so that kind of explains why I ended up the way I did, you know. So like that Band of Gypsies album is kind of like that's the first music I like remember hearing kind of in life, you know. So but yeah, it's that I remember when when we first got our the first like CD player. It was just the single like disc.
The
and so it
Sony
goes-
joint where it comes out and it's long.
that one. So yeah, just having like like just listening to a lot of like more diverse things now because now you have this compact disc and just go the record store experience is a lot different. So just I remember the first night we got it and my parents just getting all kind of different stuff really just to show off the stereo,
Right.
So but in that mix was Exodus by Bob Marley and the Wailers, and that like that really spoke to me that whole album a lot. I don't know, I guess the like Gen Z kids call it meta or whatever, but like Bob Marley like kind of wore this like exact shirt and in an interview one time. So yeah, it's just I don't know, it's funny. But Bob Marley Exodus album really kind of like just like really spoke to my like soul, I guess, and I knew that I wanted to do that. Along with going to a concert at a young age too. So
Okay.
What concert was that?
Yeah, what concert did you go to?
so my first concert was the Any Heartbreak tour.
Whoa, that's a legendary tour.
Yes.
Dope. So, Jeremy, we have mentioned WERC Crew in your bio. Okay, so I'm just gonna love on WERC Crew for a minute. There are so many pictures of me at WERC Crew events in like the very early years of like WERC Crew. I loved the energy that y'all were able to harness in all of us. I feel like there was this you helped all of us creatives in Atlanta kind of have a space where we could just land and be, but also build with one another. Oh, and dance and sweat our faces off and our bodies away at the same time. So congratulations on y'all continuing to do this. Because it meant a ton to me in Atlanta. WERC Crew events, I have so many fond memories. So to that point, what makes you the most proud about WERC Crew and what y'all have done for the world?
Well, so I would say it's not an event, really. It's not a moment in time for real. For me, it's just it's a bunch of people who didn't like really fit in anywhere, kind of come
We were
together.
the Island of Misfit Toys.
Yeah. And like people from all walks of life, people from all type of places. Me and Xavier met at a birthday party for an artist that he was DJing for. At the time, he was a good friend of mine. And we just kind of, when we met, this is before WERC Crew, when we were doing the party Shade at Space 2 when it first opened.
Space 2.
Yeah. So this is like even before WERC Crew time. So like we just figured out we had a lot of the same problems, Atlanta, as a Southern hospitality as it can be, is still very tribal a lot of times. We didn't go to school with we didn't go to college with anyone there. Even if we had friends and family and had been there a long time, we didn't go to the same churches as people. We weren't in fraternities. We were not legacy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to fit in a lot of times, and kind of find a space if you don't know, the big homies, I guess as they would call it. Right. So we kind of figured out like we have a lot of the same problems. We're from all these diverse places and we want to express like this music. It's actually twofold. It's like we want to play a lot of futuristic music stuff that is next. I can say like even back then we were playing Disclosure like before like Latch was out or anything, like those type of artists, but like kind of previously. And I think a big part of that was having younger people around us too. Kind of, you know, by that time I was in my late 20s. So very disconnected with college age anyone, you know. So, but I would say the college age people at that time, you know, they really kind of helped us stay kind of cutting edge because we were kind of the middle children, you know, of the scene. You know, there's all these people older than us who've done all these like incredible things, but this is kind of pre-internet and like access to people. So I remember like, and this is funny because we just shout out to Salah. We just did
Salah Nonze.
Yeah, we just did a joint together at the Echo Room, which is a new spot over here. But like I remember first seeing him opening for Common, and I'm like, oh, he's famous. There's no way you know what I mean? Like, like that's how we talk. Yeah, that's how we like our generation. We were disconnected from our elders because of that. You know, so we kind of led the younger people, the people younger than us. We kind of held them tight. Like, okay, so we're kind of lost too, but we got y'all. So come on. So there was a younger generation that kind of grew up with us. Yeah. And now, you know, now they have their own successful events. Now they're their own artists. Now they're their own DJs. Now they're working for, you know, whoever. I think of a time when, you know, speaking of that shade party, Abra was the bartender. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Like, you know, like India, Sean, and Mariba were just college kids, like, you know, hanging out at our party, and you know, fathers and the McConas. Like those people were just, you know, Trinidad James kind of era. Like these were like just the weirdo. No, we weren't though. We weren't, you know, we weren't though. We were just people that didn't fit a single like, you know, crowd necessarily. We fit every crowd almost.
Listen, and I was like the old dude coming to the WERC Crew parties, like having the best time. Like I promise you, I'm gonna put up some of the pictures from the joints. Y'all brought us all. Like I was able to get introduced to Selection in my 30s. You know what I mean? And I'm like, ended up writing all time and just like being introduced and reacquainted with this new sound of music, which ignited a whole other part of my life. So, man, yeah, y'all did that. So
shout
congratulations.
Out to that for sure, because I think J-Ray, the first time that I was with you, you took me, it was on Auburn Avenue.
I'm sure.
And yeah, it was on Auburn Avenue, and you guys were doing something. It was a WERC Crew event. That was my first time ever seeing you all, seeing Xavier, seeing Jeremy, and just, you know, I remember at that moment realizing that I need to find my tribe. So that resonates with me as well. And speaking of which, I see, you know, shout out to everybody in the chat.
Yeah.
I see my sister Peppermint Gaddy is in the chat. You know, we've had Ox, all the people that are part of Wax Fundamentals coming through and creating events, creating a legacy like what you're doing is so important that we cannot go any further without shouting you out and congratulating you on the 9th anniversary of the Groove Party, which you gotta tell for the people that are at home that don't know what the Groove Party is. Tell them, just tell us how you got started, because 9 years of doing consistently an event that people consistently come to and pack it out is nothing to shake a stick at.
Yeah. So thank you, first of all. And for me, the Groove is kind of like I don't know, it's like our activism a little bit, you know, kind of our rebellion against like R&B needs a space by itself, you know.
Yes.
There's other, you know, we didn't invent the R&B party. There's R&B parties before and after, and plenty after, you know. But a lot of the times, you know, to appease people, you know, they'll have a hip hop segment, or they'll have some kind of like rap infiltration kind of thing. And you know, of course, I'm as hip hop as they get. You know what I mean? But I feel, and you know, us in the group just feel like, man, R&B deserves its own move out the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It deserves its own thing. So it's just our like kind of love letter to R&B, like, you know, and we dig in the crates. You know, it's not just surface level R&B. You know, we all have different influences and you know and things like that. So we all bring something different to the table. There's song. I'm now the OG in the group, I guess. So I'm the oldest one.
Yeah.
So like there's songs from my teenage years, like you know 702 in Subway, like this little game, like that I don't get to hear
Classic
out loud.
joy.
You know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like we need it. That's what that's for. But it's not just for like you know 90s R&B at all. We always like definitely tried to like champion what's next and like newer R&B too because you know I mean you know R&B is still around and there's some of
Yes.
like there's some of the best music out now than there's ever been. But you know, it's just too much music, period. So it's hard to find stuff. And
Yeah.
I think when we were growing up, like we're the last, like we're the internet puberty generation. You
Yep.
know, like we're the
Yep.
we're the great science experiment. Like we're the
Mhm.
last people to like experience R&B like for real.
Yep.
You know, like our teenage years are like the classic 90s R&B that you
Mhm.
know that people are trying to emulate now and all that stuff. So me being on the younger spectrum of that,
Mhm.
but still a teenager through that whole
Yeah.
time, you know, like it's kind of cool to see a lot of that come back in style. And I can hit them with, you know, 4 Page Letter and you know
Mhm.
all these records that I liked growing up. But then you know we could always, you know, we always play a lot of new stuff that people are connecting to today. So I know I rambled, but yeah, it's just a
No,
safe
that was
space for
perfect.
No,
R&B
No. Yeah.
and a place for you know to hear ballads out loud. You know what I mean? Like
We
it's
need
so
it.
important. It's so
to do the
important.
running man real hard. You know, you
Yes.
got to do that sometimes. You know what I mean?
Listen, I've been screaming that for the longest time, and I'm so happy that you all are able to experience that and create a space for that to live in. And so I've seen, okay, Jerry and I went to one of the times that you were in town. We went to one of the, I think it was
Oh
a high
yeah.
key disco
It was a
party.
high key disco party. Had a ball.
And so what a lot of the younger people get a lot of flack for not
Mhm.
dancing at parties, for not going in and going up for the music that the DJ is playing. And but that's not what we saw.
Not at all.
And so I'm interested to hear from you, Jeremy. Like, what surprises you the most about spinning for a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha crowd? What surprises you when you spin for them?
So okay, it's twofold, right? Like they have all the information in the world, but a lot of times they just don't research sometimes, or they're like real surprised by things that I think they should know, but they're not. Then I realize how much time has actually passed, and I'm just like, well, it's just me for real. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's been the interesting thing. Me doing the high key disco, which is kind of like another trip. It's kind of like my selfish early 80s version of the groove if
Mhm.
I were to do it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So um definitely a Latin Quarter 54 Paradise
Come on,
Garage
Latin
kind of
Yes.
quarters.
you know like kind of era. I'm
Yes.
basically, I come from a big family, and all of my aunts and uncles, had their formative years in New York City. And, I would just, thinking of New York City in that time period, um, I it was always kind of a desire to like just I wanted some of that. I wanted to hear
Yeah.
over like a fat rat out loud. Like,
Yes. Over
and
the
experience
loudspeaker.
it.
Right.
Yeah, and experience it like how my aunts and uncles did. I have an uncle that like I was, really close to, that passed away when I was about 18. And I remember the winter before he passed, I used to go back to New York to go record shopping, like in the winter time. That was buy records in an Avarex just to,
Wow.
yeah,
Took it
it
back to the
was one of
Averex.
those.
Averex with the
Oh
matching
man.
Scully.
Yeah, which it's just crazy that all that is in style again,
Yeah.
but so yeah, that's what I would do. Like, and then just, I remember one time I was at his house and I was just showing him all these records that I had gotten, and he, it was just, just these string of records that really stuck to me, that were on these compilations, so for Haiku Disco, also, and this is just in my DJing period, I try to play things that probably haven't been played out loud in a long time. I feel like these
Yeah.
songs have some kind of soul, and if
Yeah.
they haven't been played out loud a long time, they kind of, I don't know, they die or whatever. But I just love playing like Kashif and Howard Johnson and like these type of records like out loud, and a lot of these kids, they really like them a lot, to the point where like they'll come up to me and be like, "Oh man, you put me on to well, there's one particular Jam and Lewis record by a group called Real to Real, and they had a song called Can You Treat Me Like She Does, right? And it was like a one-off.
Okay.
Like,
I
yeah,
have to find this. I wonder if I probably know the song. I'm dying to hear it.
So now we have to know.
Now we have to know. Real quick. So along these lines, Jeremy, this is how this conversation kind of gestated too, because we were chatting back and forth, and you had played Davina's Best of Both Worlds. I don't know if it was a song or if it was like the album, and somebody's mind, whoever you played it for, was like mind blown by this. And you were reflecting about like, oh, like these little pieces of magic would happen like all the time. When I remember just that album alone, how wild it was that it happened, and then that was it. Like, it was just like, this is a thing that's going to enter the world, and it's just going to be here, right? And we never hear from her again in that way, right? Can you reflect on, because you alluded to this, like there's so much music out there. It's hard to land stuff because it's so much coming at you. Whereas when we were younger, there was like a process. Like there was a process in the way that music came to us, right? We kind of knew what was coming and when it was coming at all these levels. Reflect from your perspective on that a little bit as you're kind of navigating the world now. It's kind of an elder millennial, introducing the people to Davina and loud records and all of that.
Yeah, man, it's funny. It's like, was I just hoarding this music all this time just to do this now? So that's
you get to be like the sensei for like the young people.
Right. Or like there's like I was saying, there's things that I think people should know already, and my mind is kind of blown. But I also realize how much time has passed. Yeah. I'm a youngest child. I always say when people meet me, they think I'm 30, but when they talk to me, I'm 80. You know what I mean? Just because I've been around older people my entire life, and it's always like, even my musical taste, it was just trying to impress some older girl, probably. You know what I mean? Like that's really what it boils down to. So I paid attention to what older girls liked,
Yes.
and the older girls that I liked, they listened to like the Breeders, but they listened to like Cree Summer.
Yeah.
And you know
Shout
what I
out
mean?
to Street Fairy. That record is amazing.
Yeah, like, so like I kind of peeped to like, okay, this is with the older girls I like, this is what they listen to. And a lot of my like taste kind of came from that kind of way too. I ain't gonna lie. But like, that's how I discovered like Tricky and like, you know what I mean? Like these type of groups that this is the type of music I like anyway. But like, that really was kind of what did it. And that kind of shaped my taste and just the desire to like dig more in that like kind of vein. I was in my early college years doing like kind of the neo soul kind of explosion, the mainstream wave of when Voodoo. I would say like two of my favorite albums came out the year I graduated high school, which is Kid A by Radiohead and Voodoo.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So so that was the kind of music that was out. So that's I was just on a hunt for anything like adjacent a little like to this future soul, this new soul kind of thing. And then going to a lot of the record stores in Atlanta, and just like always like looking for like off the wall things. I used to go to More Dusty Than Digital a lot, which was a spot that used to be in the parking lot, kind of where MJQ and Drunken Unicorn is now.
Okay.
They
Okay.
later moved to off Euclid Avenue, but shout out to DJ Rashida. She used to work there.
Okay.
And of course, you know, I'm a young kid.
Yeah.
And this beautiful woman behind the counter.
Yes.
Hey, you should try. I'm buying whatever
You're
you
like,
say.
whatever you suggest, man,
Whatever
I am
you
buying.
say.
Yeah, $50 fertile ground import. I'll take
Sure.
it. You know what I mean? So like,
The kids will never understand
You know,
the need
you
to
know.
import, y'all. We used to have to import
Yeah.
things to
My
get them.
God.
gas or imports.
Right.
You know. So, oh man, it's ridiculous. But
Yeah,
but
you
yeah.
really unlocked the memory just now when you said Kid A.
Yeah.
Shout out to Shaniqua in the chat. She and I, that was squarely an HMV record store mainstay. We would wear that CD out
So good.
every time we were, like if you were opening. I've said this before. If you happen to be an opener at the store that day, you get to select what's played. What goes on the CD playlist for the day. And Kid A was definitely a part of that. Ursita said something very interesting in the chat as well about this is another example of the power of feminine energy. And this is very true. Along my DJ journey, I remember this one guy just randomly told me, make sure you look at what the women are doing. If it's making them move, you keep doing that. Because as long as the women are moving, then everybody else is going to follow, because the women are going to draw people to the dance floor. And that's just a true fact when it comes to the art of DJing. And it takes me to this next, I'm kind of flipping the subject. We're going to go here a little bit about crowds and about social media and including them in what we do, and how it's become glamorized and also been used as a marketing tool. So recently, I haven't seen any in the past few months now, but recently there were a lot of these videos popping up of these boiler room type sets, DJ sets. And for the people listening at home or watching, we're talking about the DJ is in front of the camera and there just happens to be, just some random people behind them having a good time and dancing, and, whatever they're playing, whatever they're spinning, it's going off and people are just having the best time. But then there's become this controversy surrounding the video. What is your take on that whole, about those videos and the idea that a lot of like publishing companies or people who are scouting and grabbing up people's publishing are actually funding those types of videos to have people mash up records that they want to make popular again? Do you think that the days of it being organic are gone, or is it strictly a marketing thing now?
Nah, I don't think it's gone. I think as long as there's people, there's gonna be kids like us. You know what I mean? There's gonna be kids who desire more, who can kind of see through it. I kind of feel two ways about it. It's like, I admire the creativity of a lot of these. We've done Boiler Room twice, and when we hosted it in Atlanta, I get the aesthetic, I get the idea. The videos are creative. Like, I mean, it's something that I don't want to sound too Yasin Bey, but it's something I'll clean my house to.
And that's fine
no,
too.
but yeah, like I appreciate good visuals. I appreciate aesthetics, and that's cool. I think what happens a lot of times, a lot of people who do that and are booked off of that quickly realize, depending on the crowd, that it's a different animal, and it's not a disrespect to people who do if you're having fun DJing, like, hitting two pots and pans together, by all means, you know what I mean? But but yeah, but I just think that it just in real life is different. And if you're like a corporation, like one of your event or something to mirror exactly what you saw in this video, you just have to like take the video with a grain of salt that it is a production, in a way. So
That is, and I mean, honestly, I've always found I love the production on the Boiler Room stuff. Like it's always like, and it's consistent, right? This is not like a new format, in terms of how it's set up. I was surprised to that point, Sir Daniel, of seeing it in like these other ways. Like I was like, oh, okay, that's the thing that people are doing. I think that to that, I agree with you, Jeremy. I think that there will always be folks that are craving kind of a little more, and we could see like, oh, this is like a marketing thing. Okay, I get that. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Especially the mashups. Because remember, there was I reached out to you, J. Ray, because there was some DJs finally said what I was thinking. I was like, I'm so happy for you that you realize that this BPM matches this BPM, and you were able to put these songs together. Not to rain on anybody's parade, but it was like, okay, this is cute, but it's it's kind of a mid. It's mid. It's I've heard that done before, or I've heard something similar, and I don't know. It's just one of those things where it's like you understand that people are discovering things. They're discovering music
every
like
day.
we discovered it every day, and so what's old to us and what's old hat to us is fairly new to them. So I had to kind of temper my criticism of that with that thought, like, okay, you got to give the kids some grace and space. But then when I found out about the whole, these are ploys by these people, that these publishing scouts out there trying to make, trying to shift the algorithm and trying to get people to buy their old catalog again because they bought it up. I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. But yeah, I had to step back and stop and not be the old head, the old head in the room that's always got something to say about the kids doing what they feel and what is making them happy and what makes them, makes them groove. So thank you for that. Thank you for that perspective, because I know I text J Ray at least 3 to 4 times, like, you see this? It's like, it's kind of mid.
I think with technology, things become less sacred a lot of times.
Ooh, say that.
And there's certain songs that, like, I don't know, we're still from that. We're like the last of the Mohicans, unfortunately, that hold a lot of these songs sacred. Like when I hear like mashups and Smells Like Teen Spirit or like stuff like that, and like, you can't touch. Like I still have that feeling of like, man, you can't mess with these. Right? Like there's certain records that don't mash up Billie Jean with Billie Eilish. I don't want to hear that. Like, there's certain things that we hold sacred, and there's just. But technology just becomes less so.
Jeremy Avalon and everything that he's done in Atlanta and beyond is something to be respected. And so we're very grateful that you took this time out to spend it with us and to just chop it up. But as we wrap this up, Jeremy, I want you to have the last word. Please let the listeners and the viewers know how they can consistently follow you. Let us in on any upcoming projects that you have. I know you've done. Have you dropped it already? But I know you were working on something, a project, a remix project, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So, I am working on a remix project. I've been just hoarding music too much, and I'm sick of doing that. You know what I mean? Like I make it all the time, and I always, we overthink things, and I've been just inspired by a lot of music, a lot of reggae right now, and I haven't really heard any like remixes of any of like the Marley kids music really. So I have a kind of a lo-fi, like just guitar, bass, keys kind of head nod kind of versions of some of my favorite music of Bob's Kids.
Nice.
So yeah, I got that. I have my event High Key Disco weekly at MJQ and sometimes monthly at El Malo also.
Okay.
We have a YouTube channel as well where you can see a set at the one of the very last ones at the 736 location at MJQ.
Yes.
So that's a legendary moment.
Was
You
Nights
could
Over Egypt the last song? Is that what it was?
oh so that wasn't that night, but yeah,
Okay, cool.
I did play the last night, and I played Nights Over Egypt as the last song in there. I just released a video with Controller Raj. Shout out to Empress Raj, Stolen Drums.
Yes.
That is like full of, if you like early 90s R&B, like a lot of UK flavor, loose ends, soul to soul, Tara Kemp type vibes.
Yeah.
That one's for you. You know, like I was saying earlier, you know, being like the oldest millennial around, I'm like one of the few people that still like plays a lot of that era because I was the old enough.
Right.
You know, that's really
Listen,
like,
J-Ray, when he dropped Loose Ends, Don't Be a Fool on Saturday,
Jam.
me
Jam.
and Medicine were singing at the top of our lungs. I was like, that.
Don't be
I
a
was like, so I'm not the
fool.
only one that would throw that into a set. I love that song. Absolutely.
Great song.
Yeah.
Jeremy
And
Avalon.
going to England as a young age, that really kind of sparked all that. For sure.
Absolutely. But this has been a pleasure, Jeremy.
Always.
Appreciate you so much for doing
Thank you,
this
man.
and for sitting in with the Q Points podcast. J-Ray, let's wrap this up. Let the people know, all the people that J-Ray has, that Jeremy has brought along with him to watch us tonight.
Yes.
Need to know how to keep in contact with Q Points while we got him here. So hip them to the game.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much. As we always say, if you can see our faces or hear our voices, subscribe wherever you are. Share the show with your friends, family, colleagues. Chances are if you love Q Points, they will love Q Points as well. Thank you so much, Jeremy Avalon, for coming and hanging out with us, man. Like, I respect you so much. And not only that, you have gotten me together on the dance floor. I appreciate it.
Man.
So thank you so much.
I appreciate you for dancing.
Man.
Thank you for dancing.
Absolutely. So y'all, please visit our website, qpoints.com. You can watch the entire archive of Q Points. We are almost at 200 shows. There's a lot of content over there that you can lean into, and you should visit Q Points Mag, where we give you some additional content. We got all types of articles over there where we give you some additional flavor that you might really, really enjoy as well. And if you want to keep the lights on in Q Points land, you can shop our store at store.qpoints.com. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all.
That'll do it. All right. What do I say every week, y'all? In this life, you have a choice. You can either pick up the needle or you can let the record play. I'm DJ Sir Daniel.
My name is Jay Ray. This is Jeremy Avalon.
Jeremy Avalon. And this has been Q Points Podcast, dropping the needle on Black music history. We will see you on the next go round. Peace.